All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to tackle the one question that stops so many would-be entrepreneurs dead in their tracks. How in the world do you come up with a good business idea? I'm going to guess that if you're here, you're after more than just a paycheck, right? You want freedom. Freedom with your time, financial freedom, creative freedom. And look, starting your own business is one of the most powerful ways to actually get there. So let's frame this as a quest. The Freedom Business Quest. It sounds kind of epic, but really all we're going to do is take this huge, intimidating challenge and break it down into a simple, practical, step-by-step process anyone can follow. Okay, so here's our game plan for this quest. We'll talk about the founder's trinity, then move through 3 phases: the great divergence, the filter, and the emergence, all leading to your winning idea. Let's do it. All right, first things first. Before we even think about specific ideas, we've got to understand the absolute fundamentals. What are the core building blocks of any successful business? And this is it. It's called the founder's trinity, and what's so powerful about it is how simple it is. Look, at the end of the day, all business is just an exchange of value. You need a specific person who has a specific problem, and you offer a product or a service that solves it for them. That's it. Person, problem, product. I love thinking about these as Lego blocks. You've got a bucket of person blocks, a bucket of problem blocks, and a bucket of product blocks. All you have to do is pick one from each bucket, click them together, and boom, you've got the foundation of a business idea. It really is that simple at its core. Now, this is so important. This is where almost everyone goes wrong. The biggest beginner's mistake is starting with the product. We get these flashes of inspiration, right? I'm going to build an app for this, or I'm going to sell these cool hoodies. You have to resist that urge. The magic happens when you start with the person and the problem first. Trust me on this. Okay, theory's over. Let's get into the first active phase, the great divergence. And the name says it all. This is all about going wide, brainstorming, and just creating a massive, unfiltered list of possibilities. You know, this is basically the creative process for anything. First, you diverge. You generate tons and tons of ideas, no judgment. Then you converge. You start to filter and narrow things down. And finally, an idea will emerge. It's a natural process. Okay, so our first source of ideas is your own craft skills. I want you to grab a piece of paper right now and just do a brain dump. What are you actually good at? What do people always ask you for help with? What does your boss literally pay you to do every day? Website design, video editing, managing people, whatever it is. And remember, the goal here is quantity over quality. Just get it all down on paper. No idea is too small or silly right now. All right, next idea source, your passions. What do you just love doing? What topics do you get lost in for hours? And please do not judge the business potential yet. If you love World of Warcraft, write it down. If you write Harry Potter fan fiction, write it down. If you love singing, write it down. Right now, we are just gathering raw materials for our idea factory. Don't censor yourself. And the third source is a really cool one that people often overlook: skills you'd like to learn. So many people think, oh, I'm not an expert, so I can't start a business. That is not true. You can literally build a business as you learn. You just have to be one step ahead of the people you're teaching. Maybe you're curious about AI, or UX design, or learning guitar. These can all be the seed of a great business. Okay, deep breath. You should now have this huge, maybe even messy list of skills, passions, and curiosities. The diverge phase is done. Now it's time for phase 2, the filter. This is where we get systematic and start weeding out the ideas to find the real gems. And here's how we're going to do it. For every potential idea on your list, we're going to ask 3 simple questions. Think of it like a traffic light system: red, yellow, or green. First, do I like them? I mean, can you actually see yourself working with this group of people? Second, can I help them? Do you have the skills to actually solve their problem? And third, the big one: will they pay? Is this problem painful enough that they'll open their wallet for a solution? Be really honest with your gut here. Now, when you're thinking about that last question, will they pay? This is absolutely crucial to understand. The market is basically broken down like this. 90% is the mass market, think like Walmart. Then there's the 9% premium market and a tiny 1% luxury market. As a beginner, you want to completely avoid that 90%. You can't compete there. Your sweet spot is in that premium 9%. You're looking for people who have a painful problem and are more than happy to pay a fair price for a great solution. And this example just illustrates the point perfectly. Look at this. The problem is exactly the same. I need to ace the BMAT exam to get into med school. The product is pretty similar too, but look at the person. On the left, you're targeting all UK med school applicants. It's a mass market approach. You might sell a group course for $100. But on the right, you're targeting the parents of applicants in mainland China, a much smaller, much more specific group who has a huge desire for their child to succeed and the money to pay for it. Same problem, same skills, but one is a $100 business and the other is a $15,000 business. That's the power of niching down into a premium market.
Okay, so at this point, you've filtered your list. You should have a handful of really solid green light ideas. Now we enter the final phase. Phase 3, the emergence. This part is less about spreadsheets and more about looking inward to make that final choice.
And we're going to do this with a few powerful questions. First, the 2-year test. I want you to really imagine this. If you had to wake up every single day and work in this niche for the next 2 or 3 years, which one actually feels exciting? Which one energizes you? Because let's be real, a business is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, next question. The no-fail scenario. This is a great one. Imagine I could wave a magic wand and totally guarantee your success in any of these niches. Which one would you choose? What this does is it removes fear from the equation. So often we don't choose what we want. We choose what we think is safe. This question gets to the heart of what you truly want to do. And then there's the most you test. Which of these ideas really aligns with your values, with your personal story, with the person you're trying to become? Which one would you be genuinely proud and excited to tell your friends and family about? That connection to your identity is a super powerful motivator when things get tough. And finally, a little fear check. Of the ideas left on your list, which one scares you? Just a little bit, but in a good way. Sometimes that feeling, that little bit of nervousness in your stomach, isn't a sign to run away. It's actually a sign that you're onto something big, something you genuinely care about. That fear might just be excitement in disguise.
And there you have it. That's the whole process. By going wide, then filtering down, and then looking inward, you haven't just waited for lightning to strike. You have systematically engineered a business idea that's perfect for you.
I love this quote from James Altucher. If you can't think of 10 business ideas, think of 20 instead. It just drives home the point that this isn't about some magical moment of genius. It's a skill. It's a muscle you can build. The goal is quantity first, and you can run this process over and over again.
So what's the big takeaway here? Finding a profitable business idea isn't about waiting for some magical lightning bolt of inspiration to hit you. No, it's a process. It's about following a map. And now you have the map. So the only real question left is, what problem are you going to solve first?